We're back with you, and I talk about my favorite segments, and we have a lot during the week. I love Four on the Floor, and I love Pick Six and stuff. And I love when Jonathan Horowitz comes in to talk about horse racing, and specifically Arapahoe National, but we got another big race coming up, and so that's why I'm ready for him today. The Horse Racing Insider, and that's what he is presented by my favorite place downtown, the Celtic Tavern, where you can bet daily on off-track horse and dog racing. I like the aspect of it, talk about it, but you can sit at a booth, and they got the TV right there, and you can sit there and eat, and you can figure out what's going to happen and what's going to win, and they got a big Saturday coming up with the Preakness. Watch live and bet daily and sip from a selection of over 350 whiskeys. And you say, well, why do you say that? Well, because I've tried all of them. Just 2 blocks west of Coors Field on Blake. I took the publisher over there, and he came in to watch the show one day, and he said, somebody said, it's good to see you, Mac. Mac Tully's the publisher, and he said, yeah, Woody took me out the other night and got me drunk. And we become the biggest fans of Uber. We're going to Celtic Tavern. Preakness coming up. Well, first of all, give us an update on where we are with Arapahoe. One of Colorado's secrets, if that's fair. I mean, the track insiders know to go out to Arapahoe, but I've talked to a lot of people who haven't been exposed to it yet, and if they came out, they'd have a great time. And the season's starting?
Season's starting a week from today, and actually this year I think the cat's going to be out of the bag because we have a new TV show. We enjoy appearing on your show courtesy of the Celtic, and so I think a lot more people are going to be coming out to Arapahoe.
So. Yeah, have you ever been out?
I have been. It's been a while, though. I'd like to get back out there.
Terry Fry from the Denver Post comes out and does a lot of stories on it.
And he wrote a great article on Sunday about the races.
Yeah, and that's why I say to people, if you haven't tried it, I mean, you're looking for something else to do, it's great, even family entertainment, I would say.
Oh, a lot of families, all ages.
Yeah, the food's good, stuff like that. Okay, we got the Preakness coming up.
We got the Preakness.
And I have done my own handicapping, which worked out somewhat well for the Kentucky Derby. You haven't heard this. I picked the top 4 horses, but I didn't pick them in any of the possible right way. And so
you got to get the order.
0.
Anyone can pick the horses. It's the order that matters.
I know. That's one of the fallacies of betting is you can go, oh, yeah, I like these 3 horses. Now you got to figure out how to actually bet them. So the big question of the week is, he picked the winner last time. He had most of the people in the top 4 or 5. How do you like we're down to 8 horses, which is kind of surprising me. Usually 12, 13, because this feels like more like a Belmont Stakes kind of field of only 8, down from 18 or so. How do you think that's going to affect it? And your horse in the Derby, American Pharoah, which won, is inside, and that's not a good place to be with tight corners.
It's the opposite of where he was in the Derby. In the Derby, he's on the outside. He can watch everybody make his move at the top of the stretch. But now American Pharoah is on the inside. And with the field of 8, I mean, what it lacks in quantity, it more than makes up for in quality, because you have the top 3 in the Derby coming back to race in the Preakness. That hasn't happened since 2009. And so it's going to be a very tactical race with 8 horses, and with really the best 3-year-olds coming out of the Derby and running again in the Preakness. So American Pharoah, certainly the most talented horse going into the race, but there's going to be a lot of tactical edges going on, and even though you're the best horse, it has to play out well. And there's the added factor that it's a 50% chance of rain in Baltimore, so you could really have a very dynamic Preakness Stakes with the best horses and with everybody being able to follow each other's moves.
So you didn't answer the question, though. Who do you like?
Maybe I was purposely avoiding that, but when I do figure out who I like, and when you figure out who you like, you can actually go over to the Celtic right now because the Preakness festivities are starting, and they're taking bets.
Product alert.
350 whiskeys. I picked American Pharoah for the Derby and wore my turquoise blue, but today I'm wearing my pink, and I'm going to pick Firing Line. And the reason I'm going to pick Firing Line is because they're sort of switching places. The way the Derby was run, you had Dortmund making the lead, and you had Firing Line stalking him, and American Pharoah could sort of wait on the outside. And there's a psychological aspect to sports, psychological aspect to horse racing. I think it really helps when horses have something to run at. And I sort of see the roles reversing a little bit, because with Firing Line on the outside and with Dortmund and American Pharoah so close together on the inside, now Firing Line can track him and he'll have something to run at. And plus, when you're going to look at the odds, American Pharoah is going to be below even money,
right,
and Firing Line could be 3 times that odds. And so I think he's a really attractive horse.
Yeah, and the horse I liked to win the Derby was Dortmund, and it faded. It faded. It was not a finisher. Firing Line I really like a lot because you're going to get some return on value if it wins, and it ran a good race in the last race. I don't know that anybody, the inside with Pharoah, the way I see it, and you're the expert, I'm not, but Pharoah and Dortmund are right next to each other.
It's
and
tough.
they're going to, I think, kind of blow each other out, even though Baffert is going to inform both jockeys, do not waste yourselves
right,
early. But I think there's always a tendency to go ahead and I raced quarter horses at one point, and I know the tendency was, hey, let him go and set his own pace. So I think you looking at something. I'm going to give you one, and I want a long shot from you. Field of 8, but the thinking is the three top favorites are going to be in there somewhere. But I'm looking for a real good pick for me, Mr. Z. Mr. C was not in the Derby, has had a successful year, has some late speed, and he's going to be a value at 15, 20 to 1 or something. So I mean, if you're looking for somebody to maybe throw in there, to me, it would be Mr. Z. Your thoughts?
Oh, that's a great value bet, because when you look back a couple of months ago, you had in California Firing Line, Dortmund neck and neck, and just ahead behind them at Los Alamitos in their futurity was Mr. Z. So he has run with them before, and when you get to these races, it's only 2 weeks between the Derby and the Preakness. You really need a money trainer who knows how to get a horse ready in that quick amount of a time, because most times horses have longer breaks between races. And Dwayne Lucas, the trainer of Mr. Z, he's that type of a trainer. He won the race a couple years ago with Oxbow. So you're right, you sometimes want to pick who the best horse is, but you want to look for value. Mr. Z's great value. Another long shot that I think might have a chance is Divining Rod. He skipped the Derby, and he won the Lexington Stakes at Keeneland. I think in the end it's going to come down to the Derby horses, just because they are the best 3-year-olds. So it could be Mr. Z, because he had such a rough trip in the Derby, and he could run certainly a better race.
He never was able to escape, so you can't really tell. He's sort of an unknown value because he got locked in in the Derby. Anything you want to throw in, since we're throwing some really good stuff at you here?
Yeah, when you said long shot, there must be a horse named Rockies for this guy. He's been all over. Yeah. How much does horse racing need Pharoah to win, though, to keep that momentum? We've been teased by this idea of a Triple Crown winner. You know, I mean, the last horse that really captured my imagination was Big Brown. But how much does horse racing need that, or is it moving in the right direction? That just the race itself can stand alone now, even if Pharoah isn't able to win this one?
It certainly helps to have the buzz of going for the Triple Crown, but I actually think right now horse racing sort of hanging on its own, because you had 170,000 people at Churchill Downs.
Wow.
You had the biggest television audience since 1992. So I think people are tuning in for the racing aspect of it. But when you have a Triple Crown, there's nothing like it.
I want to shop where he shops.
He looks sharp.
He's got the best voice in the business, best voice on this program, and he's been so far in one race the best picker. But it's early. Go out to the Celtic. This segment sponsored also by John Elway Cadillac of Park Meadows, Colorado's #1 Cadillac dealer.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more. Because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on elwaydealers.com.